Hello children, Sai Ram. Welcome back to Social Studies class. Let's continue with the same chapter. Chapter number 4, Climate. This is revision part 3. In today's session, we shall know more about the factors that affect the climate, that is height from the sea level, distance from the sea, wind and humidity. Before that, let us have a quick recall about what we studied in our previous class. Children, we studied about factors affecting climate, that is latitude. Okay? The lines running from east to west on the map or on a globe is called as latitude. The major 5 latitudes are Arctic Circle, Tropic of Cancer, Equator, Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle. We even studied about the 3 climatic zones. That is torrid zone, temperate zone and frigid zone. The torrid zone. The word torrid means extremely hot. As it lies near the equator, this zone receives maximum heat from the sun. It is hot throughout the year. This zone lies between Tropic of Cancer in the north and Tropic of Capricorn in the south. Temperate zone. The area that lie between the Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle in the northern hemisphere and the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle in the southern hemisphere are called as temperate zones. This region has mild summers and winters. Next is frigid zone. The areas between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole in the northern hemisphere and between the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole in the southern hemisphere are called as frigid zone. It is the coldest place on the planet. Okay. Now let's see the next factor which affects the climate is height from the sea level. It is also called as altitude. On the screen, we can see the images of hill stations, isn't it? Okay. Can you guess which place image is this? Yes, absolutely right. This is the image of Mahabaleshwar hill station. Now children, tell me, why do we prefer to go to hill stations during summer season? We prefer to go to hill station, isn't it? During the month of May when we get the vacation. Now why do we prefer to go to hill station? Yes, because it is cool at that place, isn't it? Okay. Therefore, the higher a place from the sea level, the cooler is its climate. That is, if we prefer to go to Mahabaleshwar, then the temperature is low at Mahabaleshwar because it has a high altitude. This is the reason why people like to travel to the hill stations during summer season. Now let us see what is altitude. Temperature decreases with the increasing height. Children, what can you all see here in this image? Yes, it's a human pyramid. Now human pyramid will explain us about the altitudes. As you can see in this image, all these people here has made a human pyramid, isn't it? Yes. If we think about it, which one of these are feeling the most or the least amount of pressure? Okay? Which one of these are having the most pressure? Can you tell me, children? Yes, obviously we will say that the people, those are at the bottom, has the high pressure, isn't it? Whereas, who is having the least amount of pressure? Of course, the person who is at the top has the least amount of pressure. Because nobody is pushing down, whereas all the people at the bottom row, that is over here, have lot of pressure because all other people are crushing down on them. So, as we go up in the altitude, there is less pressure. So, we say that the air at the top of mountain has the less pressure. Okay? Now children, here is the image for us to understand in a better way. This is 0 meters altitude, that is sea level, and here the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. If we move little upward, that is around 1000 meters upward, the temperature is 23.5 degrees Celsius. That is, the height has been increased, whereas the temperature has been decreased from 30 degrees Celsius to 23 degrees Celsius. Similarly, if you move little more upward, that is around 2000 meters away from the sea level, then the temperature is 17 degrees Celsius. That means again the height has been increased, whereas the temperature has been decreased. Now reaching at the peak, that is at 3000 meters height, the temperature is 10.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, so at the sea level the temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, whereas if you see at the height on the top of the mountain, the temperature is 10.5 degrees Celsius. That means we can say that altitude refers to the height above the sea level. Temperature decreases with the increasing height above the sea level. Clear? The next important factor that affects the climate is distance from the sea. On the screen we have two different images. Places are same, but the seasons are different. That is summer season and winter season. Land near to the sea will have pleasant climate, isn't it, children? Now, why is it pleasant? This is because in the summer season, when the land gets very hot, then the cool breeze from the sea, cools it down. Okay, that means from the sea, the cool wind flows to the land and it reduces the temperature of the land. Okay, as a result, it does not get very hot. That is, the land doesn't get very hot. Whereas during winter season, what happens? During winter season, the sea gives the warm air, that is warm breeze. So during winter, when the land gets very cold means temperature is down, that's why it gets very cold. Okay, during winter season, when the land gets very cold, then what happens, children? Yes, then the warm air from the sea comes and it warms this place. Which place? That is the land or the area which is near to the sea. So it doesn't get very cold. So we can say that the sea doesn't allow the place to be either very hot or very cold. So the places which are closer to the sea will have a pleasant sort of climate. Now let us take an example. Yes, this is Panji at Goa, whereas this is the image of Nagpur in Maharashtra. This is near to the sea and this is interior. Okay. Now Panji has a pleasant climate. I'm sure you must have visited Goa. So Panji has a pleasant climate. Now why does it has a pleasant climate? Yes, of course, it is very close to the sea. Whereas Nagpur has a hot climate because it is far away from the sea. I hope it is clear, children. The next factor that affects the climate is humidity. Now children, what do you mean by humidity? Humidity is the amount of water vapor or moisture in the air. Now, in some places, the amount of moisture or water vapor in the air is very high. Okay? That is, humidity is very high. So, in that case, what happens? Because of this, the air has lot of moisture in it and it does not dry up our sweat very quickly, isn't it? Even you might have experienced. Okay, so it is already filled with water. That is, the air is already filled with water. Therefore, it doesn't allow our sweat to dry. Okay, so you will get very sweaty and you even get very, like irritated or uncomfort, isn't it? So the places which have very high humidity usually have very uncomfort climate. That is, the places or the areas or the regions near to the equator, as it is very hot. The next, that is the last factor that affects the climate, is the wind. Winds tend to flow in particular directions in different parts of the world. They may be hot, they may be cold, dry, or full of moisture depending on where they come from. Now, the wind which blow from the sea, okay, the wind which flow from the sea, okay. Now, this wind carries the moisture along with it. Now, as it moves towards the mountain, here at this place, what is the temperature, children, at this place? Yes, the temperature is very low. So, what happens? The wind which carries the moisture along with it condenses, okay. So, the rising air cools and condenses, and at this place it starts precipitation, okay. That means it comes down, okay, it comes down in the form of rain. Now, as the air progresses in this region, it doesn't have any moisture or water along with it. As a result, the air flowing in this region is very dry. Therefore, this area will get minimum rainfall, okay. This area will get minimum rainfall. So, we can say that some area get ample amount of rainfall, whereas some areas get minimum amount of rainfall, and which is affected by the winds. So, wind is also the important reason which affects the climate. I hope all the contents are clear to you, children. So, here we come to an end of the chapter. Let's have a quick recall. That is latitude. Area closer to the equator are warmer than those towards the poles. Altitude. Areas located at higher altitudes have a cooler climate. Distance from the sea. Areas near the sea have a moderate climate, while those in the interior have an extreme climate. Winds. When winds blow from the sea to the land, they carry moisture, and when they blow from the land to the sea, they are dry. That's it with our today's session. Okay, take care. Goodbye.